Animal Experiments by Barbara James. What's your purpose for reading? We are analyzing argument. We are reading for what? We're looking at claims. We're looking at evidence. We're looking at how well the author presents their argument. So our purpose is analyzing an argument and practicing annotating. Animal Experiments by Barbara James. Worldwide, more than 200 million living animals a year are used for research in scientific experiments. Research goes on in universities, medical schools, commercial laboratories, and military or defense establishments. Animal experiments are used to develop new medical techniques. Food additives, cosmetics, and household chemicals are tested on animals. Animals are also used in psychological tests, weapons research, and space experiments. This research is known as vivisection, which means the dissection of or painful experimentation with living animals. The most commonly used research animals are rats and mice. Scientists also use rabbits, cats, non-human primates such as baboons and chimpanzees, birds, and fish. Most are bred by commercial companies, especially for the research laboratory market, although a few are caught in the wild. Okay, if we stop there, we see the triangle. Reread the author's statements in lines 1 to 14. At this point, can you tell what message the author wants to share with you? Look at it again. What do you notice? What's repeated? Living animals, experiments, research, experiments, tested on animals, animals, experiments, research. Notice the word painful. That's really important as far as cluing you into what the author's trying to tell you. Painful. Experiments, animals. Again, we have living. The most commonly used animals are rats and mice. Scientists also use rabbits, cats, non-human primates. Most are bred. Research. Okay, research. What's repeated over and over again? Okay, so it's going to be about animal research, why it's used. Notice this word though, painful. Is this going to be an unbiased report or is it going to be an argument? Notice how the rest of the text is set up. The scientist argument, acceptable pain question mark, medical experiments. Okay, so pay attention to this heading as you read. Scientists give a number of reasons why living animals are used in experiments. The knowledge of how bodies work is vital to doctors. Experiments on living animals may increase their understanding of disease in humans and other animals. The testing of drugs and other products requires a living body to discover any chemical side effect. See that living repeated again? It is morally unacceptable to experiment on humans. That sounds very claimy, but it's also commonly held belief. Most of us are going to agree, yeah, we don't experiment on humans, unless you're a Nazi, right? Hitler did. It is morally unacceptable to experiment on animals. Other animals have similar biologies to us, and they are considered less important and less intelligent than humans. Therefore, we use them for experiments. This shows that scientists and the society that allows these experiments gives humans priority over animals. Okay? Scientists give priority to humans over animals. Humans come first. I'm going to paraphrase. Humans come first. Yeah, that looks weird. I'm going to keep going. The benefits to humans are believed to outweigh the suffering caused to animals. Do you agree? In other words, the benefits, so if there's a scale, okay, the benefits to humans are outweighing, more important than the animals and any suffering they have, because people first. That is the priority that is commonly assumed. Do you agree? This shows that scientists and the society that allows these experiments give humans priority over animals. The benefits to humans are believed to outweigh the suffering caused to animals. Do you agree? Take a moment and think about that. Would that be left side or right side? That's right, it would be on the right side. You're reading against the grain here. Do you agree? Yes, I agree. Or no, I don't agree. Scientists maintain that experiments are carefully controlled by law so that animals are well cared for and their pain and distress is kept to a minimum. You know the word distress? Here's your clue, pain. They're being upset. I remember saying the word pain before. I'm going to circle that. Most countries have laws to control research on animals, such as the Animals Scientific Procedures Act of 1986 in Great Britain and the Animal Welfare Act in the United States. These laws regulate or control the handling and treatment of animals in the laboratory. Acceptable levels of pain and distress, saw that before, and standards of housing and maintenance. In other words, there are laws that are supposed to control how the animals are treated in experiments. Acceptable pain. Many people argue that experiments cause unacceptable pain and suffering to animals. They believe that it is morally wrong to abuse, misuse, and kill animals for our own knowledge. There is evidence that many experiments are unjustified Unjustified means not a good reason. Unjustified on scientific grounds, meaning there's not a good scientific reason for the experiment. Because, why? The results are often misleading. Because animals react to certain drugs and chemicals in a different way to humans. Many experiments test different versions of the same drug. This suggests that far more animals are being made to suffer than is necessary. I'm going to circle that suffer part because I see pain and distress, suffer, as almost the same. By the way, this is a claim. Notice that the author says, they believe, not I believe. See the triangle. Let's find it. Summarize the scientist argument introduced in lines 16 to 20. Wait, that's not the right one. 16 to 20, where is it? 16 to 20. Okay, so scientists learn a lot about living bodies by experimenting on living bodies. And in 35 to 42, what's repeated? Experiments, results, okay. More animals are being made to suffer than necessary. So what would you say? Write that here. Medical experiments. We all want to be healthy, and if we are sick, we call on doctors to help us recover. Western treatments rely on drugs and surgery, but these are not used on humans until they've been thoroughly tested. Because animals do not suffer human diseases, scientists create the effects of disease artificially. Oh, that's interesting. Disease. To research rheumatism, they use chemicals to inflame the joints of rabbits. And rheumatism is when your joints swell. Here's the definition. To study Parkinson's disease, they, scientists, deliberately inflict brain damage on monkeys. Oh my goodness. Thousands of cats and dogs are poisoned with toxins to study lethal viruses and diseases. Aww. Okay. You may not be familiar with the word rheumatism in line 48, but the phrase inflame the joints in line 49 gives you an idea that it's a medical condition with a certain set of symptoms. Circle another disease in the same paragraph and then underline a clue that suggests something about its symptoms. Okay, say it. Brain damage. There you go. Many medical advances, such as organ transplants, antibiotics, and vaccines, have relied on vivisection. I saw that word earlier. Researchers say that thousands of human lives have been saved by experimenting on animals. Opinions differ on how much animal experiments have contributed to human health. Some people maintain that improved housing, sanitation, and diet have had more effect on human health than medicines. There's a counter argument. They also point out that testing does not guarantee that a drug is safe. One example is the case of thalidomide, where deformed babies were born to mothers who had taken the thalidomide drug to prevent sickness during pregnancy. In other words, doctors gave moms-to-be this drug, and it actually hurt the babies. It was tested on animals, but it didn't work on humans. Medical experiments on living animals present some of the most difficult arguments in the animal rights issue. When the health of a person is at stake, it becomes more difficult to say that an animal has equal rights to life. Are humans more important than animals? Does the human benefit of each experiment outweigh the cost and animal suffering? Is it worth killing hundreds of mice if one human life is to be saved? Over here, my own comment, I'm thinking, yes, kill them all. But I'm supposed to stay over here. Is it worth killing hundreds of mice if one human life is to be saved? Are you more comfortable thinking about experiments with mice than those with monkeys? Notice that there's a bunch of questions in a row. Okay, what effect might all these questions have on a reader? Well, the questions are questions, so of course we're going to try to answer them, right? Are human lives more important than animals? Yeah. Does the human benefit of each experiment outweigh the cost? Maybe. Is it worth killing hundreds of mice? Yeah. Are you more comfortable thinking about experiments with yucky mice than cute little monkeys? Yes. So what effect does all that have? It's a persuasive technique. And it's called, well, obviously it's called questioning, right? But what kind of questioning is it? Do you know? It's called a rhetorical question. So write that down. It's a rhetorical question. But because it's a series of rhetorical questions, it's a pretty effective strategy, since the questions are leading us in the direction that the author wants us to go. Okay? Testing cosmetics and household products. Think how many chemicals and toiletries you use at home. Shampoo, toothpaste, deodorant, makeup, hairspray, and many more. Manufacturers of cosmetics and household products test many of them on animals to screen the products for possible harmful effects on humans. There are three main tests. The first is the LD50, Lethal Dose 50% test, in which animals are force-fed a product until 50% of them die. What? Okay, the time taken for death, notice the repetition here, lethal, force-fed, die, death, the tone, okay, notice that the tone is a little less neutral here. The second experiment is the Dre's eye test. Cosmetics, such as shampoo or liquid detergent, are dripped into the eye of an animal for up to 7 days. The degree of redness, swelling, ulceration, that's bleeding, and discharge, pus, on the eye is measured. This test is usually carried out on rabbits because they do not produce the tears that would wash the substance away. Okay, when we talk about appeals, logos, ethos, pathos, did you just get a picture of a bunny rabbit with its eyes bleeding? Because I did. And that made me feel sad. Actually, I'll put that over here. That's my reaction. So what effect is that? Pathos. That's an emotional appeal. The third test is the skin irritancy test. The skin of an animal is shaved and the product is applied. The skin reaction can then be observed. This test is usually carried out on guinea pigs and rabbits. What does the author's choice to include these details suggest about her message? Why is she giving us these details? Okay. Is she neutral? Or is she saying, animal testing, bad? She's certainly not for it, right? Okay. And the last section, pain for profit. Pain, what's profit? Money. Many famous brands of perfumes and cosmetics are tested on animals. A number of supermarket chains and other manufacturers now label products that have not been tested in this way. Manufacturers say that there would be no new products coming on the market without animal testing. Animal welfare campaigners argue that thousands of chemicals and products have already been tested and do not need to be tested again. While many people do not like medical testing, they can understand the benefits for human health. They can see no possible benefit, however, in causing animals to suffer for beauty products. What kind of beauty products? If we go back, what kind of beauty products? Shampoo, toothpaste, deodorant, makeup, hairspray, perfume, cosmetics. This type of testing is often referred to, it's called, pain for profit. Do we share the manufacturer's responsibility because of the products we choose to buy? Take this question and make it a statement. We share the manufacturer's responsibility because of the products we choose to buy. If you do that, it sounds very much like a claim. Toiletries, such as toothpaste and household chemicals, have a more practical benefit than lipsticks and perfumes. Does this make it more acceptable to test them on animals? Would it be immoral, wrong, not to perform these experiments if the outcome will benefit humans? And again, we have rhetorical questions. Alternative techniques. There are now many alternatives to animal experiments. Computers can predict with 80% accuracy whether a chemical will cause cancer. Human cells and tissues grown in the laboratory can be used to research Parkinson's disease and multiple sclerosis. Powerful scanners can research brain disorders, cancer, heart disease, and arthritis on human volunteers without the need for operating on monkeys. So, author's message. The box that appears at the end of the article is called a sidebar. This guy, sidebar. A short article that presents additional information. Does the information in the sidebar affect the way you answer the questions the author raises in the last paragraph? This part. Would it be immoral not to perform these experiments if the outcome will benefit humans? Here it says there are alternatives. Computers. We've got human cells now we can use. Powerful scanners. So do we need to use the bunnies and monkeys? Maybe not. What does the sidebar information suggest about the author's opinion? She's trying to sound neutral, but she's not neutral, is she? She is definitely against animal testing. Okay, now that I've read it with you, why don't you go back and make sure that you've done some paraphrasing. Thank you.